Hello parents. Today's topic is a little bit sensitive and a complex topic that is and also most frequently asked out by parents, that is if my first child has autism, doctor, should I go for the next pregnancy or not? If I have to go, what is the risk of second child being affected with autism? Is there a guarantee that they won't have autism? So before I answer this question, is there a guarantee that if you go out you will not fall? Is there a guarantee that today it will not rain? Is there a guarantee that in this match India will win? Is there a guarantee that you will pass definitely in this exam? So there is no such guarantee, right? But there is always a chance. So we have to ask, what chance is there that the second born is going to be affected? That is a more relevant question than asking, is there a guarantee? So now what chance? So for that we need to understand that, because see, our whole life is based on chance. You attempt a particular exam because you know that the chance of cracking is high. You go to a particular theater for seeing a movie because you know that there is a high chance of getting a ticket over there. You are opting for some particular date for travel because you know that there is a high chance that that is a good season, or there won't be any rain or any other problems in that particular time. So based on chance we are all taking our decisions. So let's see what are the chances of getting autism in the second kid. So for that, what is the chance that a child can get autism in general? That means out of every 100 children that are being born of today in today's world, what is the chance of getting autism? So this varies from developing countries to developed countries to urban to rural and many other factors. But on an average, now it is said that 1 in 45 kids are having autism. That in, let me make it a round figure. So 1 in every 50 kids is having autism. That means 2 in every 100 is having autism. That means the chance is 2%. Now, if first born child already has autism, now what is the chance that second born child is having? It is around 10 to, upper limit is 20%, but on an average 10 to 15% is the risk. So now in normal population it is around 2 to 3%, and in the second born it is 10 to 15%, which means roughly around 3 to 4% risk is increasing. But having said that, which automatically means that if a first child has autism, there is a chance of 10% that a second child can have autism, but there is also a 90% chance that he will be a normal child. So the odds are in favor of a normal child. 90% there is a chance that this child can be having a normal sibling. Now the next question is autism, like, can we specifically say that the first child has autism, so automatically the genes are going to be transmitted from the parents and so the next child is having autism? No, not like that. All these disorders definitely have a genetic basis, but they need not be hereditary. What does that mean? What do you mean by a genetic basis? See, in a simple language, the color of your skin, your facial features, the kind of your hair, whether it is so similarly, a person's intelligence, a person's height, everything is determined by their genes. So not all problems or not all things that are determined by genes are hereditary. For example, you might be having a nice green colored eyes, but none of your family members have that. That means by genetically your eye structure is made up of that colored cornea, but it is not a hereditary thing. But if 3 generations of your family are having similar eye color, then it is a hereditary thing. So it is very simple to say that all hereditary issues are definitely genetic, but all genetic issues are not hereditary. So the same thing we have to apply to autism also. Not all cases of autism are because of something that has happened in the genetic this thing of the mother or the father and it is transmitted. Most of the time it is a sporadic mutations that are happening. Now what do I mean by sporadic mutations? See, when as an example I can take there is some factory and some product is being repeatedly made, like batch of products is being made, and the same thing is happening with the machinery in all these products, but there is some small defect in one piece. Now why exactly the defect has come means it is just by chance there has been a, you can say, a mutation in that particular thing while it is being either printed or labeled or something in the factory. So that is what we mean by saying sporadic mutation. So when this sperm and the egg, they come together and a zygote is formed, and from there all our cells are being made up. It is like a factory where we are the product, that is a fetus is being made. Some small mistake has occurred sporadically without a particular reason, that causes a sporadic mutation. And sometimes it could be a defect in the genetic material of the father and the mother, and they are coming together, and that defective material would have led to a problem. Then we term it as hereditary. Now having said this, in autism, if we take, what is the chance that it could have a genetic yield? I mean, if you are doing some tests which can like these genetic tests, what is the chance that we can get a positive result? Because that is important. Not every child of autism, if you are testing for genetics, it will come positive. So the yield is again quite low only. It is around 10 to 20%. So there are three basic types of testing, especially if it is a boy child. There is a fragile X PCR. Usually it can also be done in girl children, but predominantly we see the problem in the guys. So there is a fragile X PCR followed by chromosomal microarray followed by whole exome sequencing. These names can sound very confusing and intimidating, but in a simple language it is to say that chromosomal microarray is going to test what is the total number of chromosomes and their structure, their size, any differences in the chromosome structure physically. I mean, like the huge chromosome, is there a bit of deletions or duplications that are happening in the chromosomes, etc. The genetic tests, other genetic tests like the exome sequencing are going to see even more minute details, like the chromosome is okay, but the DNA structure or the genetic makeup inside the chromosomes might be defective. So all the tests have to be done. They can be done in an order. Maybe first fragile X, if it is negative, a chromosomal microarray. If it is negative, a whole exome sequencing. But often parents tell us like, we don't have any problem financially, so can we do all at a go so that our anxiety is relieved quickly? Then that is also an option. All three together can also be done. So rough cost of all these tests put together will be around 40 to 60,000 depending on different labs and the technology they are using. They are a bit costly. That's why we don't advise it to every child with autism. Now, which children are definitely to be advised are, one thing, it is a family decision. It is a firstborn child and they feel that we don't want to take any chance, so let us know the genetic details of the child and then we will plan accordingly. So 100% you can go for these genetic tests. The second group is, there is any facial dysmorphism, and I mean, just by looking at the child you can make out that the head is too large or too small, the ears are really outward or very low set ears are there, the facial dysmorphism, very crowded features, or the nose and the eyes are very much unlike other kids. Then in those cases we can definitely go for a genetics. And the third group is autism with intellectual disability. So most of you might be aware that intelligence level varies in these autism kids. So many kids may be in the average performing zone, very few kids may be exceptionally brilliant, and there could be a group of people who are very low average or low cognitive skills. So if intellectual disability is also added in these cases of autism, then definitely better go for genetics because the yield is more. They say up to 40 to 50% is a yield if intellectual disability is associated with autistic features. That means every 2 children with autism with intellectual disability, 1 child might be getting positive on the genetic report. So now this is for whom we should go for the tests, etc. Now the test results have come. What to do if it is positive, what to do if it is negative. The better one, that is what to do if it is negative. Negative, you can be happy that at least as of now, with the today's research what we have in hand, we couldn't pick up any genetic specific cause for autism. So you can be relieved that there is nothing much you can do, so you can safely go for a second pregnancy and there is no additional testing that is needed for the fetus. that is while you are pregnant, there is nothing really that you can get tested separately to know whether this baby will be having the autism. So the risk will be like any other normal population. Now what to do if it is positive? Now this is a bit dicey. So see, autism is not a single gene disorder. That means, see, there are many other genetic conditions where we know very typically that this genetic mutation has caused this problem. For example, one simple example, thalassemia major. Many of you might be knowing that there will be few kids who will be requiring lot of blood. Every month they go to blood banks, get the blood and get transfused because their body is not producing blood. If such a genetic disease is there, it is very easy to find out because there is one particular gene which has caused this problem. But in autism, it is not the case. Most of the autism cases, it is multifactorial genetic inheritance. I mean, which means to say that there are many genes which could have caused the problem, and not one particular gene presence or absence is dictating the symptoms. It could be many factors which are a mix, and all this, when they are coming together, the child is actually developing autism. So now in today's research, around 10 to 15 kinds of genetic mutations have definitely been identified which are very strongly related to autism, and others are under research. So they write it as uncertain significance. So we are still researching about it. We cannot conclusively say that this has caused the autism, but maybe this has caused. But there are about 10 to 15 genes which are very strongly associated with autism. So if such a thing comes in your child, then what? So now again go back to the topic when we started, where I said not all genetic problems are hereditary. So first they are going to check whether this particular genetic problem which the child's report is showing positive, is it there in the mother and the father. So only for that particular mutation you will be checked, father and mother. If fortunately none of you have the problem, then there is that this is a sporadic mutation. It is not going to happen again in the second kid. At least by what we can say, the chance is extremely low. So you can go for a pregnancy safely. But if the same mutation is found in the mother or the father, then they are going to advise you for fetal testing. That means when you go for a second pregnancy, you have to be under strict follow-up of a genetist and a gynecologist. And before you cross third month of pregnancy, they are going to do some sampling on your amniotic fluid, and from there they will do the genetic sequence of the baby. So the same gene is not there in the baby, the second baby, you can be free from the fear that this baby is going to have again autism. If there is a mutation, then they will decide what to do about it. Having said this, sometimes it is too complex a decision even for the doctors or the genetist or the parents to take. So these have to be like, you have to have a healthy discussion with the doctors if you are going for such tests, and have open mind about it, and believe in that there is always a chance, but we have at least tried from our side to rule out as much as possible, and we are safely going for the second pregnancy. So keeping aside all these, if you ask me as a general family physician, not like in detail like these genetics and all, should we go for a second child or not? Because this is very frequently asked question. And recently I have heard from a parent that the child goes to a therapy center and there are about 100 kids in the therapy center, and 80 to 85% kids parents are scared to have a second pregnancy because there are so many myths about it. Like, one child has this, definitely there is very high chance that second child has this, or 100% they will be having this, etc, etc. So please learn the facts right. Go to a particular doctor or a genetist or a developmental pediatrician or a neurologist who is thorough with these kind of things and discuss, and do not believe in these kind of statements that everyone will have a second child who is having autism. Now, having said that, my personal opinion or my personal suggestion to the parents is you can definitely get the genetics done and go for a second pregnancy, because the second sibling definitely will add a lot of strength to the first one. He will be like a role model for the first one, because the gap will be usually 4 to 5 years, and we also suggest a gap of 4 to 5 years because the first child should be on track by the time the second child is being planned. but he will learn a lot from the second child. When the second child is developing, when the second child is talking, when the second child is learning how to play, interact, the first child also has a huge chance of improvement. And also the kind of love and bond and affection the two siblings share cannot be given by anybody else. And as parents, you may be with your child like throughout for the next 30-40 years, but beyond that, it is a sibling who will be their moral strength or a pillar of support. So definitely go for a second pregnancy, but like I said, uh, analyze, understand, and take an informed decision. If you want to see more such videos on autism or related topics like any neurobehavioral problems, speech problems, etc., please do subscribe so that you will be getting the notification as in when we do a next video. And my sincere request to share this kind of videos to maximum parents or families or friends group that you have. And please don't feel embarrassed to share such videos, because there will be many who will be awaiting for such kind of information, and all their blessings are going to be with you. You might never know whom you are helping by sharing such videos. Thank you.